Everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are on chapter 5 of You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And for the people who've been with me on this journey, thank you so much for all the support and for watching all the videos so far. I've been taking this book chapter by chapter each week, and we're on week 5, so I'm going to get straight into it. And to the new subscribers, welcome, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So the name of this chapter today is What Do We Do Now? And then the second heading is Decide to Change. And she also has a little sentence wrote, I see my patterns and I choose to make changes. So I'm just going to start to read the first paragraph, and then I will give you my own thoughts and what experiences I've had from this week. So it says here, decide to change. Throwing up our hands in horror at what we may call the mess of our lives and just giving up are the ways many people react at this point. Others get angry at themselves or at life and also give up. By giving up, I mean deciding. It's all hopeless and impossible to make any changes, so why try? The rest of it goes, just stay the way you are, at least you know how to handle the pain. You don't like it, but it's familiar, and you hope it won't get any worse. To me, habitual anger is like sitting in a corner with a dunce cap on. Does this sound familiar? Something happens and you get angry. Something else happens and you get angry again. Something else happens and you get angry. But you never go beyond getting angry. What good does it do? It's foolish reaction to waste your time only getting angry. It's also a refusal to perceive life in a new and different way. It would be much more helpful to ask yourself how you are creating so many situations to get angry at. Where am I? What are you believing that causes all these frustrations? What are you giving out that attracts in others the need to irritate you? Why do you believe that to get your way you need to get angry? So that's how she opens up the chapter, but it really does go much deeper than this. And I think she starts it up with anger because when we decide there's something in our lives that we want to change, and you know, we wake up one day and we say, that's it, I'm going to clean up my diet, for example, or I'm going to speak with my partner and we're going to work a little bit harder at our relationship, or I'm going to look for a new job and hopefully be able to leave this job that I'm in right now that I'm not happy in. There are so many different examples. And what I liked about this week from my own experience was that she really goes into mind, body and spirit. And this has been something that I've been working on personally for a long time now. And even I created a vision board when I was doing the Artist's Way series. I created a vision board and that was my team, body, mind and spirit. So to see it crop up again in this book was lovely for me. And what I'm trying to also bring in here to what we were just speaking about anger and all the different feelings, is that really this week she's trying to get you to figure out all the things that are going wrong in your life and to finally stop and just notice why are you becoming angry about it instead of taking action to do something about it, you know. And you know, it's easier said than done. We all fall victim to, how would you say, creating a great idea, like I'm going to eat healthy today and I'm going to sort out my relationships, I'm going to get a new job, I'm going to write more, whatever, you know, we all have these goals and things that we want to achieve. But what happens is, when you're not in the routine of doing something, of course it's going to become difficult at the start, you know, to start, and maybe you'll even go for 2 or 3 days and you'll be flying, but maybe on the 5th day the body starts to get tired, or the mind starts to get tired, or the spirit starts to get tired, you know, which actually, no, I wouldn't say the spirit. I don't think the spirit ever gets tired. It's just something that we believe, you know. It's our minds that can get tired, and we can physically get tired when we do something new, maybe such as, for example, a new exercise, okay, and we start doing it on the Monday, and by the Friday we're just pooped, basically, we're wrecked. And then when we get to the following Monday, we're kind of slightly procrastinating and kind of stepping away from that new goal. And we've forgotten about the main reason we wanted to achieve good health in the first place. We'll say, for example, if it was exercise. So that's what I'm getting out of it this week, you know. Basically that when we make the decision to change is to be able to break through all the barriers and to do it long enough that we succeed in the changes that we want to make. And then she goes on and she says, make a decision to be willing to change. So that's when you start to sit down and become mindful and start to recognize your own patterns and to not to be hard on yourself. As usual, what I always say is be gentle with yourself. And what a great way, like I spoke about on my Mindful Monday, I think when we want to do something new, we want to make a change, and we're at the point where we're really willing to put our heart into it, a great way is by writing it down, reflecting on it, and the negative and the positive to it. We'll say, for example, you want to change your diet or you want to start a new exercise, and you know for sure that maybe this is the exercise that you want to do. You need to write down all the positive and all the negative sides, you know, to give yourself the contrast, to know that it's not going to be all easy. You're going to be tired the first week, you know, and maybe your body will ache a little bit because there's muscles that are moving that have never moved before, you know, all the different things that we feel in our body. Also, maybe alongside the exercise, you may need to change your diet a little bit, you know, to be able to fuel your body now for this extra work that you're putting on, and for the extra exercise, that you're doing, you know. And it's the same if you want to change your job, and maybe you're doing something on the side of your own job. Well, then you have to start thinking about how can I fuel myself to be able to perform, you know. So it's all the little steps, and she does speak this week about food. So basically, if you wanted to change your diet, exercise, she speaks. She brings relationships, all very lightly. She touches on it. But what she is trying to say here is that anywhere we are suffering or we feel angry, there's definitely this is definitely a big sign that something has to change, you know. And I remember actually reading a quote somewhere. I think I even had it up here in a video that I did, a video one time of quotes, and I remember wherever there is anger, there needs to be a change. And you know, it just reminded me of what she was saying in this book. So, you know, anger, you know, isn't always a bad thing, because it's trying to tell us something, is what I get out of this chapter. So if we are feeling angry and we are feeling frustrated, you know, sit with it. Okay, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, and, you know, just observe what you're feeling in your body, like I always say, and, you know, just acknowledge that, but don't stay in it, you know. Immediately try and get yourself out of that, you know, and try to sit with yourself and figure out why you can't exercise, why you can't change your diet. Remove the things that are stopping you, you know. Maybe it's because you have lots of chocolate in your press, you know, or maybe you don't want to exercise because maybe you're at home, you have a lot of work to do at home, maybe you have children, maybe you have a heavy workload. And, you know, I would say as well, when we start to make a change, I know a lot of people out there will say just do it, and I believe in that too, if your life is on a steady pace. But if you're at a challenging point of your life, say if there's you know, if everything's heavy all at the same time, say maybe you have children and you have a full-time job and you're also trying to do something like start a new exercise or change your diet, you know, take little small steps, because if you go full hog in and have expectations, huge expectations, you know, usually we can fall on our faces, you know. And, you know, even if we have nothing in our lives that's troubling us right now, and we're in a good space, you know, we can still fall on our faces. But the thing is, when we fall on our face, we're probably quicker to get back up, you know. So be mindful of that. If there is something you want to change, like a diet or a job, or you want to do a new exercise, try to do it at a period where it suits you best, you know. Start it at a period in your life where things are a little bit smoother, you know. And if there are things that you can take out of your life, such as, I don't know, things that are distracting you, you know, anything that distracts you from achieving your goal, like your diet, your exercise, your new job, or improving your relationship, whatever it may be, or even practicing mindfulness or meditation. If you have distractions, you know, that are stopping you, maybe you like to just sit on a chair and watch TV, or you know, or maybe overeating in the evening, you know, there's many different things that we all distract ourselves with. I know myself, I can get very distracted with research, you know, I can keep researching and then I'll fall into another thing and I'll fall into another thing. That's my own experience, because when I feel passionate about something, I do tend to just throw myself into it. And I find that lately I have to actually set, you know, an alert, you know, on a phone or something, just to pull me back out. Now this would be on my free time I'm speaking about, maybe in the morning, if the kids are at creche, or in the evening when I have free time, you know, I have to really pull myself out, you know, from research, because I do a lot of research for this channel and things that I want to talk about later on the channel. And then what can happen to me is I go into too many different things, and I'm just sitting there kind of going overwhelmed then, oh, what am I going to do with all this? So I don't know if anybody out there can relate to this, you know, maybe you're doing this, you know, instead of doing your exercise or looking for your new job, maybe you have something that pulls you in as well, instead of actually working on the thing that you need to be doing, you know, like maybe going through your food press and just making small changes. We'll say if it was a diet, you know, removing maybe the table salt and exchanging it with a better quality salt. Maybe checking if you're eating a lot of sweet things, maybe putting them somewhere out of reach. You know, maybe there's somebody else in your household that are eating those foods and you find it hard to not, how would you say, indulge them because other people are eating those foods. Then maybe you need to create your own little press, you know. Like I found for me personally, with food, I've never been challenged really with that. You know, if I want to eat healthy, I'll do it, you know. But what I did found helped me, for anybody out there who is finding that a bit tricky, is I have my own press, you know, in my kitchen, where also there's spices, there's also household, we'll say general food items, but I also keep there my vitamins, my superfoods, you know, my almond butter, you know, all the things that I eat myself, maybe that my husband wouldn't eat, or you know, that the kids wouldn't be a fan of. I keep all those foods separate, you know, so then I don't ever open the press and see a packet of biscuits, we'll say, or a bar of chocolate, you know. I found for me that was the best way to do it, so maybe you could try that. It might be helpful to somebody out there. But anyway, I kind of got lost there into my own ideas, but anyway, she goes on to say, be willing to change. And basically starting to look at, and she gets you as well to do an exercise, I am willing to change. So we'll say all the areas in your life that you are willing to change in, that you want, more importantly, to make a change in. And I do think as well, it's okay to write down several areas, okay? But I do think it's better to work on one area at a time. I always found for me through my life, I've never started a lot of things all together. Well, I have, but I usually fail when I do it like that. I remember when I started juicing, I just focused on juicing. You know, I didn't actually immediately clean up all the rest of my diet. You know, I was always vegetarian, but when I went kind of raw and vegan, I didn't, you know, immediately just drop everything out of my press and say, okay, that's it now, everything has to go. No, the way I started was I started juicing and getting a taste for that, and adding different fruits or different vegetables that I enjoy, and really tailoring it to my own intuitiveness, that what felt good in my body and what I liked to taste. You know, I think this is very important, because we can all listen to everybody else's tastes and opinions, but that doesn't mean that we're going to love it. So you really, when it comes to food and diet, I will say, for instance, if you wanted to start juicing, you really have to tailor it to your own taste buds, is what I would say. And the good thing with juicing is you can pack a lot of greens in there, and you can pack a lot of carrots, and then you're getting all your vitamins and everything. Say even if you wanted to start exercising, you know, you could also add that on the side, you know, to complement it. You know, you can sweeten it up with different fruits, or, you know, even with sweeter apples. And I mean, organic carrots, they have a natural sweetness to them as well. So that's what I found myself doing. You know, I used to put in a lot of carrots in with my greens, we'll say, and my ginger and my celery. You know, I even used to throw beets in there. So, you know, it's just simple little things like that. And I remember, yeah, when I started juicing, I just focused solely on that, you know. Prior to that, it was yoga, you know, and then it was meditation. I solely focused on that, you know. And then when you solely focus on something and you are willing to make the changes and you chip away at it bit by bit, you know, and before you know it, everything is there in front of you. You have this creation, you know. You've created a routine. You've created the memory, we'll say, in the body and also in the mind, you know. So everything is connected, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, she says to create an exercise, basically, I'm willing to change. Let's use the affirmation, I am willing to change. Repeat this often, she says. And you do it by touching your throat. So she believes that when you say you are willing to change, I suppose the fact that you can feel the vibration of your own voice, that it's more powerful. And then also she gives the exercise again of mirror work. So to look into your own eyes and to touch your throat, the energy of your own voice, you know, the vibration, and to say, I am willing to change, you know, and to look into your eyes and say what it is you're willing to change. So what I have been doing this week is I've been saying, I am willing to change. You know, I want to learn more about editing, and I wanted to learn how to do thumbnails. You know, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to, basically, I just wanted to stop researching all the time and actually figure out how to create a thumbnail. Anyway, I created one this week, so I got a step further, you know. But I still have a lot of work to do. But I did definitely found that affirmation helped me. So for anybody out there who has something that they are willing to change, first figure out what you want to change and then say, I'm willing to change. But yeah, anyway, going back to what I was saying as well, I think little steps to everything is the best approach. And anybody out there who wants to, we'll say, lose weight or just become healthier, or they want to improve their diet, I would say steady, you know, is the way to go. Don't just throw yourself into anything. I don't believe that it's the healthy way to do it, and I don't think it's the way you can succeed, to be honest. Maybe some people, you know, but 90% of people, I think, you know, don't have that willpower. Maybe 10% do. Who knows? I haven't met them, but if you're out there, please comment below. But I think the way to do it is to maybe start on one thing, you know, like juicing or eating more salads, or just eating more vegetables, you know. Start like that, and you'll be amazed. Once you manage that and your system gets used to that, you'll be able to go on to the next thing. And it doesn't take weeks or months, you know. This is just like, we'll say, even 14 days of continually eating, we'll say, salads. We'll say accompanied by your vegetables or your dinner, whatever it is. And to feel so nourished and so full that you don't reach for the bar of chocolate after your meal as a dessert, you know. Speaking of dessert, I can hear the ice cream man now is around in my area. So if you hear music, that's what it is. But anyway, another thing, even today when I was sitting down and I was reading a book actually, and I felt a bit peckish, you know. And I said, you know, I really love something sweet right now. And I knew there were sweets in my home. You know, I knew there was chocolate there, and I know where they are, but I don't, as I say, I don't keep it in my press, you know. So I went to my press and I got out my almond butter, and then I said, what could I have with this now? And I was looking around to find my nice rye bread, but there was none left. And I said, you know, I'm going to have an apple. I feel like something sweet and a little bit of salt, all at the same time. So I just sliced up my apple, and they were lovely red apples, so they were really sweet and they were organic. And I just spread some almond butter on it, and it was absolutely delicious. And afterwards I had my cup of green tea, and there you go. That was a little snack. It wasn't a lunch, it's not a dinner obviously, it's just a small little snack, and I can tell you it tasted absolutely delicious. So if anybody out there likes almond butter, and it was an organic almond butter I was using actually, and there was no palm oil in it. So it's very important if you're looking for nut butters to make sure there's no palm oil in them. They're the healthiest ones. But it was really delicious. So that's a little tip out there for anybody who wants to get healthier and binges on sweets, or even a beautiful medjool date. And another trick I have is I open the medjool date, I de-seed it, take out the seed, and I put some almonds inside, You can just put an almond inside and eat it like that. It's another sweet, It's like eating basically a delicious sweet. So there you go, there's many ways that you can figure out things, and it's all about your intuition. Like I said, I was feeling I wanted something salty, but I also wanted something sweet, so I just created. You create from what you have, and you just go with your body, see what your body is calling for. But it's the same with relationships or anything else. I think when we start small, that's how we just by creating something small, and then we move on to the next thing and the next thing. So I would say, if there are many areas, and you know what, we're all the same, I want to put that across here, that we're none of us are anyway more better than anybody. And the reason I'm making this video is because I am trying to work on myself all the time, and the things I share with you are the things that are working for me, or that I'm in the process of doing. So even with relationships, we'll say, I had to practice being a better listener. I had to practice, just basically not taking everything personally, because these are all the things that, can harm relationships, and realizing that the whole world doesn't revolve around me, as well, because, when we get into that mode where we're angry and things don't work for us, I think that we have to realize that there's a whole world going on around us, and it's not revolving around us. Life goes on, and if you want to choose anger, then you're there, you're staying there. But the most horrible part of that is that all the people who are in your energy, or in your family, or in your work, or wherever it is, are getting the brunt of that too, because if you're feeling anger inside, or frustration, or annoyance, the people around you, they sense that. So, it's good to be mindful of that. So really, instead of pointing the finger, or blaming, or extending it out to somebody else, take the power back, and decide to own it yourself, and, deal with it in the present moment, and just say, okay, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, I want to go to the gym and I didn't go, all the different things. Just own it, and realize that the only person who can change it really at the end of the day is yourself. And the same goes to relationships, and diet, and food, and everything else. And it's all about what you really want, and then once you're willing to change, that's the next step. And that's what she's saying here. Basically, I just gave my own opinions on it. And then that's it really. She gets you as well to work on your mind, body and spirit. So basically it should all intertwine. Is it best for your mind? Is it best for your body? Is it best for your spirit? Like for me, I like to practice meditation and breath work, because I know that enhances all three for me. But for you, it could be something totally different, So I would say that, everybody has to figure out what works for them. And even in the mindfulness practices that I do here in this channel on a Monday, and throughout the week I do different series, I always say that, mindfulness is it's not an instructional, way of living. It is more about getting to know yourself, and just understanding yourself, and being gentle with yourself, and knowing what you need and what you don't need, what your body's asking for, what it doesn't need, what's not serving your body, and what your body needs, what's enhancing you and what's not. It's the same with everything. It's like when we learn something new, that's enhancing us, obviously. But like we'll say for me there, instead of maybe focusing more on creating a video, I went off researching, you know, and spent too much time researching. So I wasn't really enhancing, we'll say, what I wanted to be doing, you know, with the editing and the thumbnails and all that, if I'm gone off researching for too long, you know. So it's just an example, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's it. And then she ends with the affirmation, as usual. And I only give my own experience on this book, as I always say. If you want to purchase this book, it's by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and it really is a treasure of a book, you know, and it's an amazing book if you are into mindfulness and you're into meditation also, because for me, this really speaks the same way as any, we'll say, monk or, you know, any Buddhist teachers out there, you know what I mean? It's the same thing, it's just coming from another individual, another, you know, another person, you know. So, like, you know, it's all the way, it's, I mean, we take the things that I think in life, we take what we need and we let go of what we don't, and try not to label it, you know. And even there I said, it reminds me, that's for me personally, when I do things like this, I feel mindful and I feel like I'm developing myself and, you know, becoming more aware, you know, of the changes that I can make in my life by empowering myself by reading. You know, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine. And, you know, even if you don't like to read books, that's okay. Do something that empowers you. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's, you know, YouTube, you know, watching videos, maybe to improve your health and to improve your relationships or to improve your diet, you know, or whatever it is you need to change in your life. Always go with the thing that you enjoy most, whether it's watching videos, reading books, or even listening. You know, some people are more audio. Maybe audiobooks are the way for you. So I just want to put that out there as well. Okay, so this week she ends with a beautiful affirmation. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole and complete. I now choose calmly and objectively to see my old patterns, and I am willing to make changes. I am teachable, I can learn, I am willing to change. I choose to have fun doing this. I choose to react as though I have found a treasure. When I discover something else to release, I see and feel myself changing moment by moment. Thoughts no longer have any power over me. I am the power in the world. I choose to be free. All is well in my world. Amazing. So next week we'll be going on to chapter 6, and it is all about resistance to change. So, you know, she'll be going back over change again, and that's what I love about this book. She doesn't just bring up a topic and leave it there. It's very consistent throughout the book, you know, and I think it's a great way of working on ourselves and improving ourselves. It's personal development and, you know, spiritual growth as well, you know. What I will do as well, maybe I'm going to try maybe this week. I can't promise because I have another video coming up that I want to share with you, which is some self-care rituals that I like to do. And this was a video that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've decided to make it an autumn one. So before autumn's over, I better get that up. So I'll be working on that video next. But I definitely will be doing a video on books, more books that I think could be very good for personal development, and I will be definitely doing more reviews of books as well on this channel. I have two amazing books by two YouTubers that they've very kindly given me their books, so I'm going to be reviewing their books as well. I'm not going to say who they are, and I'm not going to talk about the books right now because I want a whole video just for the book. And one of them I just received, so I have to read it, but I'm very excited to be able to share them both with you. So anyway, guys, if you have any amazing books you want to share with me, please drop them down in the comments below. If there's anything got to do with mindfulness or meditation or personal development, you can also drop that down below. I would love to know of any amazing books out there on those topics. And as always, thank you for your presence, as I believe your presence matters as much as mine. And I'm going to give you all a great big kiss, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.